I was very surprised when I was scrolling on YouTube and I saw that nobody was talking about the Ashley Barnes situation, and there was only short videos on TikTok about it, so I wanted to talk about it because I have nobody else to talk to about it. Let me preface this by saying this is my first YouTube video ever, and I don't have any equipment, and I'm recording this on CapCut as we speak, so please don't judge me. Literally, I'm just seeing not enough people talk about this on YouTube, and so I wanted to kind of spark the conversation of Ashley Barnes and who she is as a person onto YouTube. Now, not saying that anybody will see this, but if people do see this, then hey girl, what's up shawties? My guys, girls, and squirrels, how are we doing today? I'm also starting this by prefacing that always watch the original source material. Never get your information secondhand because I'm going to be skimming a lot of this and then giving my thoughts. So watch Brad's videos, watch Capri's videos. They're 2 to 3 minutes long each, and Brad has about 9 parts and Capri has about 7, and they're both from different perspectives, and I think that it gave me a lot of insight on the situation that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. Let's start with the situation first, and then I'll go into the Diddy drawer. The Diddy drawer, and then I'll share my thoughts. So you might not recognize the name Ashley Barnes, but you might recognize her face and what she's known for. So this is Ashley Barnes. She is 17 years old, living in LA. At the time of filming this, she has about 2.5 million followers on TikTok. She's known for recording at her public school and dancing. She's also very known for posting vent TikToks. 2 days ago, Brad, one of Ashley's friends, had come out and made a story time on TikTok, the 9-part story time that I had mentioned earlier, about the night of July 6th. This is the night that everything I'm about to summarize has happened on. I believe that every victim is right until proven wrong, and every single piece of evidence I've seen come out about Ashley and her father have yet to prove Capri, Brad, and her roommate wrong. I'm going to be compiling Brad and Capri's recollection of the night into one. So I might say certain things that are from Capri's perspective and certain things that are from Brad's perspective. I'd also like to note that all of these accounts are coming from the source material, which is, in this case, Brad and Capri. Before the night of July 6th, Ashley had flown Brad out because Brad and Ashley had been friends for a really long time. Ashley and Brad had hung out the day before, and on Brad's account, it was going relatively well. The night of July 6th, Ashley's roommate, her other roommate, her and Brad are all hanging out. Ashley texts Capri at around 12 and asks him to come over because Brad and her roommate are flirting and she is the third wheel. When Capri arrives, there are drinks present and it is obvious that Ashley is under the influence. Ashley offers Capri a drink and he declines because he drove here and he needs to be able to drive back. The rest of the night consists of Ashley peer pressuring everybody in that group, so Ashley's roommate, Capri, and Brad to drink. At some point in the night, Ashley and Capri talk, and Ashley is telling Capri that Brad and her roommate are trying to get together. Capri sees nothing wrong with this until later on Brad informs him that Ashley wants to have a 2-man. If you're not aware what a 2-man is, it can mean multiple different things. However, in this context, it most likely means a double date or a double hookup. Capri then becomes confused because him and his girlfriend, Piper Raquel, have been in a public relationship for a while now. He then finds out that Ashley has been telling her roommate and Brad that him and Piper aren't serious and that they're doing it for fame. And the truth really is that him and Piper have been serious for as long as they've been on the internet together, even going as far as getting matching 444 tattoos. To clear everything up, Capri then makes it very, very clear to the group that he and Piper are serious. Now, it's important to mention that Ashley had been flirting with Capri the entire night. At some point in the night before everything hits the fan, Ashley ends up changing into very revealing clothes. After she finishes changing, Ashley begins spraying pheromone spray all over herself and all over everybody else. Pheromone spray is supposed to make you smell sexier to others so that you are more desirable. That's the concept of it, but I think that the idea of pheromone spray and having it just in your purse is kind of ridiculous. Anyways, Ashley says that she's getting bored and they end up playing Truth or Dare. Now, during Truth or Dare, Ashley begins daring everybody to make out. Which, can we take a pause because what type of freaky are you? Forget 5 nights at Diddy's, it's now 5 nights at Ashley's. She is quite literally the Diddy is calling meme, but it's Ashley instead. So Ashley gets bored of Truth or Dare and she ends up wanting to play Dare or Drink. If you're unfamiliar, Dare or Drink is where somebody gives you a dare, and if you decide not to do it, you have to take a drink. At some point during the game, Ashley's roommate becomes so desperate that she dares Ashley to stop telling everybody to make out with each other, and she takes a drink and she says, "No, I'm not gonna do that." Like, oh, what do you mean no? After this, she tries to force feed everybody these arousal gummies that she has. And she lies. She lies to all of them at first. And she says, they're normal gummies. They're normal gummies. She ends up forcing her roommate to take one and then goes on to Brad. And Brad is like, no, I don't want one. So she whispers in his ear to pretend so that Capri would want to take one. And then she could feed it to Capri. Now, Capri at this point knows what these gummies are. So he declines and he pretends to eat it. After a little bit, Brad and Capri go to a separate floor of where they're staying at. And they begin to have a talk. Brad tells Capri that he's freaked out and that he doesn't want Capri to leave because he doesn't know what's going to happen. Brad says this because at this point, Capri had called and texted his girlfriend to come get him. Brad unfortunately has to stay with Ashley because he is dependent on her while he's here because Ashley did buy his plane ticket and everything and so forth. Brad remembers Ashley cuddling up next to him and asking him very weird questions. Questions like, why don't you like me anymore like you used to? And what's wrong with me that you don't like me? Questions like that. Now, this entire time, I like to preface that while this is happening, Brad is trying to be the absolute nicest he can while still denying her because this is making him very, very uncomfortable. The night comes to an end, and the next morning, they text Ashley's father and let him know what has happened. Now, Ashley's father is just as bad as her. He's always justifying her actions through these texts, whether it's forefront or hidden in between the lines. Honestly, a little sickening to see how he justifies his daughter's actions and how he excuses what she's done. Even though he is literally admitting to Brad, the person who texted him, that she's wrong, that she's in the wrong. So he's well aware that his daughter is in the wrong, yet he is still advocating for her to the victim of the situation. I'm going to be putting some of the text message threads on the video now, so feel free to pause and read. However, these are not in any particular order, so if you would like the context for these and the particular order, you're going to have to go to Brad's video, and you can check him out. He posted these on his TikTok, brat.mason. I'm going to put it on the screen. Now, Ashley's father has used an example from over 3 years ago to sort of combat what Brad had been telling him. So Ashley's father had brought up an incident from 3 years ago where Brad had publicly dropped one of his girlfriends to date another girl that he had met while they were dating. And if you pause to read these messages, you would see that he's using that against him, saying, quote, Brad, there are plenty of rumors about you being inappropriate and unconsensual with people, and Ashley has never taken them seriously, end quote. I'd like to add that this talk of Brad being non-consensual is far from the truth and has never been proven, and Ashley's dad is just trying to twist the story. Oh, it's time for the thing that you've all been waiting for me to talk about, the Diddy drawer. After Brad's original story time, he had come out and claimed that Ashley had a drawer in her room that she was getting all of these items from that were mentioned in the story time, like the gummies and the pheromone spray. Now, what I'm about to say is a little insane because considering what's in the drawer and what's right next to it, oh my god. I think I'm just going to insert the clip of Brad showing us a little tour of the drawer, and I'll have you guys, you guys can think what you want, I suppose, and I'll comment about it afterwards.
All right, people are asking for proof, so I'm going to go ahead and drop the proof, and I'm going to, put a voiceover on, what each thing kind of is. So right here is me finding, in the drawer the next morning, this is Liquid Love Bites, which is, horny gummies. That's Orgasm Gel. That's lube. That is more, of those gummies, and then there's more ones right here. Those are, the male ones. She has her shots in there. That's a vibrator, by the way, guys. More of those things, more shots, 2 things of sex, handcuffs, and then she has pheromone spray. That's what she kept spraying all day. And then, there was, one of those in there that was, a stick that she, rubbed on her roommate.
Now, if you guys were watching that video like me, I was analyzing it. And then I was shocked to see what was next to all of those items. The Book of Mormon. Oh, my gosh. What? Why is the Book of Mormon in that unholy Diddy drawer? Honestly, what shocked me the most about this video is that the Book of Mormon was there. What Mormon ideologies were we following that night, Ashley? Why don't you share with the class? Because I'm confused. Let's also keep in mind that she's 17. I know 17-year-olds are exploring themselves, and this is not entirely out of the norm, but why would you post yourself drinking Because yes, she has posted herself drinking when you are 17. I think that this case needs to be talked about more because yes, it is sort of like a case. Practically it is because there are victims and there is a victimizer. So I think that we should talk about this more on YouTube. I think that more accounts that are better at editing and better at doing YouTube should talk about this because I'm certainly not one of them. However, I have only seen one other YouTube video talk about this subject. So my overall thoughts are Ashley's a creepy weirdo and so is her dad, and I feel really bad for all the victims. Bye!